All right, today we're doing SAT test number 7, section 3, math test with no calculator. And in this test we have 25 minutes and 20 questions. And I once heard a famous quote. It says, "You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great." So let's go ahead and get started with this. Okay, problem number 1. It says x plus y equals 75. So we start with this little equation here. And it says the equation above relates the number of minutes x Maria spends running each day. So x is running. And the number of minutes y she spends biking each day. In the equation, what does the number 75 represent? So the sum of those two, or the total, is 75. So is it the number of minutes spent running? No. Is it the number of minutes spent biking? No. The total number of minutes spent running and biking, that's the correct answer. So answer C for problem number 1. Problem number 2, it says, which of the following is equivalent to 3 times x? So I'm going to multiply 3 times x and 3 times 5 minus 6. So 3 times x, that would be 3x. And 3 times 5, that's 15 minus 6. Well, 15 minus 6 is 9. So what I have here is I have 3x plus 9. So again, the answer should be C for this one. Okay, so problem number 3, we have a system of equations. It says which ordered pair satisfies the system of equations shown above. So in this one we have x is equal to y minus 3. So what we can do is we can replace this x with y minus 3. So in the second equation, instead of x, I'm going to have y minus 3, which is x, over 2 plus 2y equals to 6. So all I'm doing is I'm substituting for x in the second equation using y minus 3. And if I want to get rid of the fractions here, get rid of the 2, so I could multiply every term by 2, multiply this by 2, and multiply this times 2. 6 times 2 is 12 on the right hand side. And over here I'm going to have 2 times 2y, that's 4y. And this 2 will cancel with that 2, which was the idea there. So I'm going to have y minus 3 plus 4y. So y plus 4y is 5y minus 3. That's equal to 12. And if I add 3 on both sides, I'm going to have that 5y is equal to 12 plus 3, which is 15. And then all we have to do is divide by 5, and y is equal to 3. Now, if y is equal to 3, 3 minus 3 is 0, so x should be 0. 3 minus 3, so x should be 0. Now, since y is equal to 3, all I have to do is I look at my y coordinates and I look for a 3. And so I notice right away that the answer is B. X is 0, y is 3. So I don't really have to calculate this value of x. I can just go with y equals to 3, look at the answers, and that would be your answer. That's for problem number 3. Okay, problem number 4 says that which of the following complex numbers is equal to this expression here. Now remember that I is equal to the square root of negative 1 by definition, so if we square both sides, then I squared is going to be negative 1. And I notice that I do have an I squared right here, so that's a negative 1. Negative 1 times 9, that's going to be a negative 9. So I'm going to have 5 plus 12i, and then I'm going to have minus a minus 9 minus 6i. So this minus right in here is like a minus 1, and I have to distribute that times each of those. So I'm going to have 5 plus 12i minus a minus 9, that's a plus 9, and minus a minus 6i would be plus 6i. And then all I have to do is combine like terms. So I'm going to do 5 plus 9, that's 14. And I look at my answer choices, and I have a 14 there. That should be the answer, but I'm going to go ahead and add the i's, imaginary part. If I add 12i plus 6i, that gives me the plus 18i. And so that gives me answer D. So in this problem, the answer should be D, 14 plus 18i. That's problem number 4. Okay, problem number 5 says f of x is given as x squared minus 6x plus 3, all of that over x minus 1. What is the value of f of negative 1? What is the value of the function when x is equal to negative 1? So all we need to do is substitute, replace every x with a negative 1. So I'm going to have a negative 1 squared in the numerator minus 6 times a negative 1 plus 3. And then my denominator is going to be x, which is a negative 1 minus 1. So I'm going to have negative 1 squared, that's 1, minus 6 times minus 1, that's plus 6, plus 3. So 1 plus 6 plus 3, that should be 10. And then minus 1 is minus 2. So 10 divided by negative 2 is a negative 5. Is there an answer that says negative 5? Yes, there is. Answer A is negative 5, and that would be the correct answer for this. Okay, problem number 6, we have a company that makes wildlife videos purchases camera equipment that is $32,400. The equipment depreciates in value at a constant rate, so constant rate for 12 years, after which it is considered to have no monetary value. So it goes to zero. From 32,400, it goes to zero in 12 years. And it is a constant rate, so it's linear. How much is the camera equipment worth after 4 years? Okay, now keep in mind that this particular section is section 3, non-calculator section. So you don't have a calculator to do all this fancy math. So I'm going to show you a way to do this quickly and easily. First of all, if we have 4 years that it's used out of the 12, that means that 1/3 is used up. And 2/3 is what's left. And so if I take 1/3 of 30,000, I've used up about $10,000 worth plus. It actually is 10,800. This is 1/3 of 32,400. If I divide 33,000 by 3, I get 11,000. So if I was to round this off to 33,000 right here, 33,000, and I'm going to use a third, that's pretty close to 11,000. Okay, 10,800 is not what they're asking for. That's not the answer, because they want to know how much is it worth. Well, if you used up 1/3, which is what we're saying now, it's 11,000, you're going to have pretty close to 22,000 left, which is actually 21,600. So if I was to take the 10,800 that it was used and 21,600 that is left, this gives me 14, exactly 32,400. So this is 1/3 and this is 2/3. This is what's left. This is the value of what's remaining. And so the answer here should be answer C without doing any calculator stuff. Okay, we're problem number 7 here, where we have a quadratic function x squared plus 6x plus 4, and it says, which of the following is equivalent to the expression above? And so this is in vertex form, x minus h squared plus k. So what we need to do is find the vertex hk. And we could complete the square on this, but I know that a lot of students don't really like completing the square. There is actually a formula that gives you h, which is the axis symmetry, which would be negative b over 2a. So we could find what h is here. That would be h is negative b, so that would be a negative 6 over 2 times a. So that means that h is negative 3. Well, if h is a negative 3, what's k? Well, If you plug in a -3 here, -3 squared is 9, plus 6 times a -3 would be -18, plus 4. So you're going to have 9 minus 18 is a -9, plus 4 would be a -5. So that means here that minus h minus a -3 would be +3. And so for number 7, let's see, it should be either A or B. Well, K is a -5, so that means it should be B. Now there's one way that we could do a quick check on this. We could say, what if x was 0? If x is 0, then y would be 4, right? So if x is 0 here, you're going to get 9 plus 5, you're going to get 14. If x is 0 here, 9 minus 5, you get 4. And if x is 0 here, 9 plus 5 is 14. So we know these are out. And if x is 0 here, you get 9 minus 5 is 4. So you're thinking, is it this one or is it this one? Well, what if x is 1? If x is 1, you're going to have 1 plus 6 plus 4. Then y should be 11. So then you come back and you say, well, if x is 1, you're going to have 4 squared is 16. 16 minus 5 gives you 11. So that one checks out. And over here, if x is 1, you're going to have 1 minus 3 squared. That'd be 4 minus 5, which is a -1, and that's not the answer. So you could do this by plugging in numbers like x is 0 in the original and then plugging in the answers, or x is 1, and you could do that. Or you could use this formula. And so these are shorter ways of doing it. There is a longer way by completing the square on the original problem to come up with one of the answers. And I think that's a little bit longer. Now, if you like working problems like this and do these a little bit shorter, make sure that you subscribe to this channel. And if you haven't already, if you already subscribed, thank you very much for watching. And we'll continue on with the next. Okay, problem number 8. It says, Ken is working this summer as part of a crew on a farm. He earns $8 per hour for the first 10 hours. Because of his performance, the crew leader has raised his salary to $10 per hour for the rest of the week. And he saves 90% of his earnings from each week. What is the least number of hours that he will work to save at least $270 for the week? Okay, so we know he makes $8 an hour. So for the first 10 hours, so he's going to have $8 times 10. And then he's going to have $10 per hour for the rest of the week. So he has 80 here plus $10 an hour for the rest of the week. Let's call that H. However, H would be the number of hours for the rest of the week. And he's going to save 90%. And he must, what is the least number of hours so he can save at least $270. And he's saving 90%, right? So this is going to be times 0.90. He's saving 90% of that, whatever he earns. So if I divide that by 0.90 here on both sides to get rid of that decimal, these will cancel out. So I'm going to have 8 times 10, I'm going to have $80 there, plus $10 for every hour after the first 10. And this has to be more than, greater than or equal to what? 300. 27 divided by 0.9. These will cancel out. So all you have to do is 27 divided by 0.9. And that'll give you 30, so 300. Subtract 80 on both sides. If I subtract 80, that gives me 220. And if I divide by 10 here, divide by 10 here, that'll give me 22. So H has to be at least 22 hours. So the answer here would be answer C for number 8. Okay, problem number 9 says Marissa needs to hire at least 10 staff members for an upcoming project. The staff members will be made up of junior directors who will be paid $640 per week and senior directors who will be paid $880. So 640 and 880. And then her budget for pay and stuff is no more than 9,700. So this is her budget. So it has to be less than or equal to that amount. So this is greater than, so it can't be that one. It could be this one. It can't be that one. And it could be this one. So since her budget is 9,700, it has to be less than or equal to. So we also notice that there's 10 staff members, and so she must hire at least 3 junior directors and at least 1 senior. And so we have it. Which of the following inequalities describe X is the number of juniors and Y is the number of seniors? So we know that X plus Y has to be at least 10. At least 10 people are hired. So X plus Y has to be at least 10, means greater than or equal to 10. So I'm looking for something that has greater than or equal to 10. This one has greater than or equal to 10. This one doesn't. Can't be that one. So I've already ruled this one out, this one out. I don't really need to read any further because I know that for this one, the answer has to be B. Process of elimination. Okay, problem number 10. We have a cubic equation. Ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d equals to 0. In the equation above, a, b, c, and d are the constants. If the equation has roots of -1, that means that x is equal to -1 and x equals to -3 and x equals to 5. Which of the following is a factor of this? So we're looking for the factors. Well, if x equals to -1, if you add 1 here and 1 here, we now have that x plus 1 is a factor, since we set the factors equal to 0 when we're solving. So if we add 3 here and we add 3 here, we're going to have x plus 3 is a factor. And if we subtract 5 here and subtract 5 there, you're going to have that x minus 5 is a factor. I notice that x plus 1 is answer B. So x plus 1 is a factor. Answer B is the correct answer. And so we say B for number 10. So I think we'll pause here at number 10. The next video will be 11 through 20 at that point. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, put in the comments. And also subscribe and hit the like button. Thank you very much for watching.